Welcome to the one-time top 6 trending wrestling podcast in Canada. This is Bros, Bumps, and Beers. I am Pat Gani, and with me as always, Mike and Helen's beta test son, Matt Gagne. How you doing tonight, Matty?
I'm doing fantastic. I'd be doing even better if I knew what a beta test was, because I'm not a huge computer nerd like yourself.
Jordan, would you like to explain it to him, please? After I introduce you, my friend, and our third member of our team, the Jamaican sensation, our producer, Jordan Schofield.
This is going to take a second. Hold on.
Oh, classy tonight.
That's something special tonight.
That's going to sound so bad on the audio. How's it going?
Matt, can you crack open?
But yeah, Matt,
beer?
can you crack your beer?
No, I can't, because I was impatient and did it before. And Jordan, this one's for you, bud.
Great.
That's upsetting.
Great. Impatient and it popped early. Talk about Matt's wife, am I right?
Oh, wow.
Whoa, is that too much?
Totally uncalled for.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Totally.
Wow.
Listen,
This will be the last episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers.
You can't steal my line.
30 seconds is the best ride of all of our ladies' lives.
I'd say that's fair.
Yeah.
I feel good about that.
I'd pay for a 30-second ride.
Right? 28 longer than my average.
Oh.
All right, so here we are.
Rough start today, boys. Rough start.
Hey, but it's okay, guys. We're here. 4th episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers. We made it. This is the threshold. They say after the 4th episode, it gets way easier. So, let's just get through this.
I hope so.
Who says that?
I read it on an article on Google one time.
Oh, how to have a successful podcast?
Yeah, I think it was on that Chartable site or something, probably.
Yeah. I think it said something about don't
okay.
pick niche subjects.
Who did that?
Yikes.
Silence. Crickets.
All right, so let's jump right into it here, boys. Let's talk about some beer. I drew numbers out of a hat, and Jordan's, before he makes love to the beer that he's drinking. Jordan, why don't you kick us off here? What are you drinking tonight?
Boys, today's a special occasion. I made a trip down to Nonsuch and decided that the only thing I could do after a long week of work is grab a bottle of Old Ale X. Just outright one of the best beers to grace Winnipeg from one of the best breweries in Winnipeg. Old Ale X is 10%, which means it's the perfect alcoholic amount. Not only that, but it's an extra strong 2019 batch from Nonsuch. So to put it simply, just one of the best beers I have ever had. And I'm actually trying to search up the score, but actively unable to spell Nonsuch. So this is me doing an amazing job of stalling before I tell you that I gave it 4.25.
Wow.
Okay, I'm getting tired of this, like Mr. Hardest Raider in the world, and you got.
I gave out. Listen, I'm here to give the hits. If you want to see the misses, go follow me on Untapped. JSCO55, JSCHO55. I did give something a 1.75 this week.
You did. I saw
did.
it.
And I was upset. Bud Light Strawberry Lime got higher than that beer.
Whoa,
Or strawberry lemonade, sorry. Yeah.
That's pretty good, though.
That's how trash Collective Arts Brewing Pineapple Vanilla IPA was. I'll name it.
That's so good, though.
No, it was not. It was so shitty. I gave away the second can I had to my cousin. I pawned it off on him, told him it was good, lied to his face, and he's a great guy. But he drank it, and he gave it a higher score. So Collective Arts, congratulations. Someone enjoyed that beer, but it wasn't.
Well, Collective Arts, also, if you happen to be listening, we would take a sponsorship.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the Earl Grey wheat was wonderful, but you guys missed the shit out of the boat.
No, Jordan, as your friend right now, do you have a bad day? Like, are you okay? You're really coming in hot today.
Yeah, it was a lot of work today, and then I had to take the dog to dog training. So overall,
been there.
Yeah.
So your girlfriend or your fiance had to carry 2 leashes tonight? Is that what happened?
Yeah, except she's gonna leash me up later. If you know what I'm saying.
You're just whoa.
Yep. This is
it's marked E for it's marked E for a reason, buddy. Not everyone.
This doesn't mean everyone. On that note, I'm gonna go to my beer. I'm gonna go to my beer because I am also doing a Nonsuch. And before I do my Nonsuch, Jordan, do you know why they put the year on the bottled beers at Nonsuch?
No, actually, enlighten me, please.
Because, and I had a very stimulating conversation, and I'm being serious, it was stimulating. I was just a little inebriated at Beer Fest
Nice.
with one of the brewers, and all their bottled beer is can be cellared
Mm.
and actually ages
Really?
and gets better. Yes, that's why it's corked.
You're telling me Old Ale X gets better?
Yes.
Like this improves if I save it.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to buy 12 bottles and save
I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like if I know red and white wines, if you place the bottle a certain way, it helps it
Yep.
age. Is
Is
that
why the cellars are angled as such? No shit.
Yeah.
Who thought this would be an educational podcast? Son of a bitch.
I always
Welcome.
did.
Welcome to learning things with Bros,
Holy-
Bumps, and Beers.
Yep.
Holy crap.
But I am drinking the Capiche
Oh,
coffee stout from Nonsuch.
It's a non-such
you-
love-a-thon tonight.
If you are into stouts, in particular coffee stouts, which I am very into,
Ooh, I'm into them now lately.
this is a top-notch coffee stout. The nose on it, that is the smell you get as you approach the glass. And I am drinking from a glass tonight, folks, so there will be less slurps.
Thank
But
God.
the nose is great. It's a great mouthfeel. It's coffee, but you still get a bit of the beer, and it's sweet enough that it counteracts the bitterness. So you get a really nice coffee taste, which isn't surprising because they get their coffee, their cold pressed coffee for their brew from Café Postal, which is in the French area on
Very nice
Provencher.
place. Yes.
Coffee's fantastic there.
Fantastic coffee.
If you follow me on Tapped, at Gagne Matt, very confusing. Yes, Pat, we all know
Tooties.
you're saying.
Tooties.
Tooties.
I gave this beer a 4.
Oh,
Now, all my coffee stouts will be around a 4 if I like them. So I have also the Cool Beans from Kilter that got a 4. It's also very good, very comparable to this. One more fun fact before we throw it to Pat, though, about Nonsuch. Do you know what their tap room, what it was before it was the Nonsuch tap room?
again, no, I don't.
Well, I'm learning so much today.
A Winnipeg landmark. It was the Edge Skate Park.
I don't,
Shock.
I don't,
There was
yeah,
silence
I don't
there.
know what that
Shock.
is.
I don't know what that is.
I moved here. In
It was an
2013.
indoor- it
I have
was
no
an-
clue what that is.
It was an indoor skate park. Like the
Oh,
only
wow,
one in
cool.
Winnipeg.
Oh, cool!
Yeah.
Wow, damn.
Pat, just
And
tell us what you're
Matt,
drinking.
Holy
it's okay.
smokes.
They can't all be home runs, man. It's okay.
Matt, can I float a boat for you a little bit? I gave Capiche a 4.25. So
Ooh.
you know what? Like you make a habit of being more right than Pat, and that trend continues here.
Hurtful.
I have a more diverse palate than Pat.
That's
Yeah,
true.
'cause-
You're a little
'cause
classier.
they're old. Because they're old.
Yes, and I've drank more beer than you.
Yeah, we know you count them off every time you drink them. We know.
Yeah. Well.
Anyways, I did not drink Nonsuch tonight. I
Good,
went
real
with
variety.
I went with Half Pints Brewery. Actually,
OG craft brewery.
correct me if I'm wrong, Matt. I don't know for sure. Are they the oldest brewery in Winnipeg?
Oldest
craft
craft
brew?
brewery.
It'd be
That
them or
was Scrapper?
Fort Garry, right?
Fort
Yeah.
Garry, I think, is older, but as far as like micro and small operation go, I'm pretty sure it's Half
Okay.
Pints.
So yeah, I'm
Jordan
drinking
can confirm
tonight the Codename Ghost, which is a New England style IPA. You know, the first time I tried this, I was a little scared. It's 6%er. It's a 50 IBU. They were saying it's very hoppy, but you know, I drink it. It's really smooth. I love the tropical notes. I don't find it too hoppy. I really enjoyed this one, and I would drink more than one. Matt, you know what? It has sessionability.
Oh, there it is. There it is,
I
ladies and gentlemen.
Webster's
for all-
gonna have to toss that in the dictionary.
For all you simpletons out there, that means you can drink a lot of them. So,
Pat, we were way off.
oh, were we?
Okay. Half Pints
Happens all the
Brewing
time.
Company, according to their website, was born in the summer of 2006.
Mhm.
According to Fort Garry Brewing's website, they've been brewing their own beer since 1930.
So close. They're close
Yeah,
together.
it's close. I have some questions, Fort Garry Brewing. You're approaching 100 years?
There's
What?
There's a little tidbit with Fort Garry. They actually are developing a microbrewery division, like an offshoot,
Okay,
which will do a lot more test batches.
sweet.
And if they
But,
make something else like that pickle pale ale,
Ugh.
I love that.
But anyways, to finish out my my
Sorry,
review for Codename Ghost, Codename Good, I gave it 4 out of 5.
Oh.
I really enjoyed this one.
You get a 4. We just a love fest for the beer
This
today,
is
boys.
big love fest. Jordan, why are you grimacing? This is a good beer. What are you talking about?
I give it
What
4.5.
is it? Like again? It's
New England style. Oh, it's an IPA, right?
yeah,
right,
so
right.
it's not possible to be above a 4.
It's for you. It's what 3.25 possible.
At like that's a good IPA is a 3.25.
So Jordan, are you saying that you're kind of soft? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I just don't know what IPA stands for. Like what is an IPA?
India Pale Ale. It's
Yeah,
because
okay.
Did
Yeah,
you say-
okay.
Did you just say what's an IPA?
Yeah, what is an IPA? Is it the cousin of ABBA?
I don't know why. I love that
then
so
you go and
much.
ruin it. Then you go and ruin it.
Anyways,
All right,
let's
that's
put
it. That's
let's-
it. Let's move on.
We'll put a pin in that. I had Codename Ghost from Half Pints. I gave it a 4 out of 5. You can follow me on Untapped at Pat Gagne. Matt, recap.
I had Capiche. I gave it a 4 on Untapped, and you can follow me at Gagne Matt with 2 T's.
And Mr. Jordan Schofield.
I had the old Ale X, one of the best beers in the city of Winnipeg, from Nonsuch, a 4.25. And if you want to see the rest of my perfect scores, JSCHO 55 on Untapped.
And we will take a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk Undertaker.
Oh, Michael, this is going to be fun to watch.
All right. And we are back. So big news. Big news. Did you just crack open that beer and didn't register again?
We didn't hear it. I don't know how he keeps
Like,
quietly
how do you-
cracking beers.
How do you open beers, man? Like,
Oh,
we gotta
he's
talk.
drinking another really good one.
I am.
Like Matt is on fire tonight.
He's just drinking them quick too. So we got to
Yeah.
get this going before he.
That was
we lose
real
him.
thirsty.
So big news. Yeah. So the Undertaker, they finished out the docuseries on the network, The Last Ride, the 5 chapters. Of The Last Ride. Fantastic. Highly recommend that. That was I haven't been that intrigued by a docuseries on the network in a long time. So look it up, find it, watch it. It's really good. And he really breaks character. He's not just the Undertaker. He's Mark Calloway, and it's super cool. And you know what? He at the end of the 5th chapter, he actually doesn't say the word retirement, but he kind of leads us to believe that this is it. And he kind of makes mention. He goes, "I can do more outside the ring than I can inside, and I'm finally at a place where I can accept that."
Wow, what a statement!
He's chasing that
The perfect last moment. Yeah.
And I think he got as close to it as he could possibly get, and realized
Yeah.
I can't do it physically anymore. But it's wrestling, so you never want to completely close the door.
And he needs to stop going to Saudi Arabia because that was just watching those 2 matches unfold in Saudi. Man, those are bad.
My wife, who's not a wrestling fan, watched this whole documentary. She was very intrigued by it. She loves wrestling documentaries, but doesn't like wrestling. I don't want to explain why I think that is. That's just it's complicated. But she watched the Goldberg Saudi match, and she's like, "That wasn't supposed to happen, was it?" I was like, "Where he almost gets paralyzed? No, that was not supposed to happen."
I can say with conviction, Goldberg against Undertaker in Saudi Arabia will probably go down as one of the worst matches in once we get to 2025, the worst match in 25 years.
Wow.
I think it's definitely in the top 3 worst Undertaker matches ever.
Wow.
Worse
he's
than
had some
Giant
stinkers.
Gonzalez? Worse than Giant Gonzalez?
Like I said, top 3. So there can be 3 of them.
Yeah. So it's weird, you know. He's been around for a long time, and like you said, the Boneyard match was probably the best way he could go. He had a lot of control over it. It was a cinematic match. They taped it in advance. I loved it personally. I know
It was
you
a
loved
mix
it,
between the American Badass, the Undertaker, and even just inserting a little bit of himself into it. I like
So
it.
there's 2
a lot.
questions I want to ask about the Undertaker that'll lead our discussion. Number 1, what is your favorite Taker thing ever? Could be a match, could be an angle, could be anything. Matt, I'll lead off with you. What's your favorite Taker thing ever?
All right. So I could go really, really obvious and go to the Hell in a Cell Mankind match, but I feel like that's more of a Mankind moment.
I would agree with you.
So I'll give that my honorable mention. My favorite all-time Undertaker thing, because it scared the absolute hell out of me as like a 8 to 10-year-old, is when the vignettes where he's making coffins or
Oh,
caskets.
yeah. Oh,
Double wide,
yeah, I didn't
double
like that.
deep. And then the Kamala one too. Kamala.
Yeah.
Like, just everything about those was bone chilling.
As a person that is totally afraid of being buried alive, that kind of stuff, I have a hard time watching with The Undertaker. I hated it.
Terrifying. But looking back on it as an adult, I'm like, that was some good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it just grew his character even more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Jordan, why don't you give us your moment? Because Pat goes last because, well.
Because I'm right
You
all
know
the
what?
time.
This is tough because I actually didn't, like, before I knew we were doing this segment, I actually went back, I think it was Tuesday of last week, and just happened to watch the entire Hell in a Cell match with Mankind again. I feel like I do that twice a year, where I just like see a clip of a part of the match and just have to watch almost the whole thing again. So
And it's only like 12 minutes, so it's like
Yeah,
not even
and
a big chore.
it's just crazy. It had these in 12 minutes they made the off the top spot, they made the through the top spot, they made the Mankind getting up from the ramp spot, they made the thumbtack chokeslam spot. There's just so many things, but again, like, you're right, that is mostly a Mankind moment. So I'm going to say, for me, I was just on the outskirts of getting into wrestling in the late 90s, basically sneaking away to watch it from my parents who thought it was stupid. And one of the first things I remember is the 97-98 feud with Kane.
Yes.
I just thought that was like that's what really, I would say, like, hooked me into storyline wrestling. I thought it was dark, but it was also extremely interesting. I thought they had incredible, like, chemistry, the two of them, despite being two characters who don't talk too much. I would say that I absolutely love that. Oh, and when Undertaker told Kane welcome to hell after getting hit with the lightning bolt, that was fucking sick. Then the way he said it makes me laugh every time. So I loved it. It was great.
That whole feud was so wrestling. Lightning bolts and then fire and
it's so great.
Yeah. All right, Pat.
Now, Pat, give us your.
Here we go, Pat. Whatever you want to say.
I wanted to go last for two reasons. I want to know if you guys were going to pick one of mine so I could cop out and not have to pick between them. Yes, that too. Absolutely selfish. I was torn between two things. One was, which came in at number 2 for me, was the series of matches between, or the 2 matches between Taker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was some good stuff.
I don't care what anybody says, those were 2 5-star matches. Those were spectacular. Again, Jordan, that's one of those ones. If I see it, a glimpse of it on the network, I'll go watch it.
Yeah, you have
to. Because it's so good. They're both so great. Storytelling. Those guys really had good chemistry.
Yep.
But
props to Shawn Michaels, man. That guy, he was Mr. WrestleMania.
Oh,
that guy retires people right too. I'll never forget him retiring Ric Flair.
I cried.
Super dusty in my basement every night.
I cried. Yeah. I cried like a baby.
I'll never forget that. The I'm sorry.
Oh,
I love you.
Chill. The I love you. Sorry, not I'm sorry.
WWE 24. The farewell of Ric Flair. They talk about that match, the culmination of that match. I couldn't handle it. But so my favorite Taker thing might get a little bit of a reaction from you guys. I loved the American Badass gimmick.
Oh my god.
Super underrated though.
Oh my god.
Everyone hated it, but
I did hate it.
You know what?
I hated it too.
I didn't hate it.
Oh really? Okay.
I love the Legion of Doom when they came in on motorcycles. Me, I'm a guy, you put a character on a motorcycle, his credibility goes through the roof for me, and he just looks like a badass. And it showed that The Undertaker just didn't have to be the dead man. He could be a real person, and you could tell he wanted to bust out of that, I'm a darkness from hell guy, and he was like just this badass with a motorcycle that kicked people's asses. And that was my favorite thing. His WrestleMania match with Ric Flair as that character. Oh,
yeah, he had to do that to prolong his career, and
yeah, he could.
it had to be done. Like, I think it was incredible. Yeah, he wouldn't be the legend he is if we
wouldn't be talking about the Undertaker the way we are if he hadn't have done the American Badass and he only did it for what?
A couple years.
5 years?
Yeah, a few years. Yeah.
It felt longer than that.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it was.
That whole ruthless aggression era felt long sometimes.
Yeah.
It was a big gamble to do that, because if it flopped, that's tough to go back just to being the old Undertaker, because then people, and the way they transitioned him out of that and he came back as the original Undertaker was spot on.
Yeah.
But so second question for everybody.
Could I ask one more thing?
Absolutely.
Before we move on, I feel like there has to be other honorable mention moments for the Undertaker. Like, another one for me is when they strung up Steve Austin.
The symbol was very close.
When that happened,
because it was a symbol.
Yeah, I was like, can they do that? Like that? Like, are you saying, like, because that has very like Jesus vibes. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, can we do that?
I don't know if we could say
are
that.
we crucifixing people on TV? I feel like Christian moms aren't going to be down with that in the late
they were not. They were not.
Yeah.
No, I heard
TSN was super not about that.
Yeah, I can believe it. So that's a moment for me, because that was another moment where I was like, it was just cool to watch wrestling push the boundaries. And as a kid, you're like, like in your head, you're like, you think you're watching. It's like watching. Oh boy, here we go. It's like watching Latin Lover. You know, you're not sure if you're supposed to be doing it.
Oh, I'm gonna act like I don't know what that is.
That's a big depth reference.
What is that? What is that? I've never heard of it.
I don't know. It was
I don't know what you're talking about.
on like, I think it was something called Showcase. I don't know. I heard about it.
It was on TLN, and it was on Friday nights at like midnight.
Yeah, it was
like an hour
I don't
long,
know.
and
I don't know. It was like right after an infomercial for something to do with like ladies going. Yeah,
I just know people who watched it.
Yeah, I heard about it from others.
I heard about from buddies.
Yeah. I heard Bob Costas really liked it.
That's what gave him.
Is that how we got double
We gave him pink eye. Yeah, we got pink eye.
So for another honorable mention for the Undertaker for me, if you ever watch his debut at Survivor Series, the fear of the audience when he walked out, everyone like terrified of that man, of a person walking out to a ring. People were terrified.
Do you remember renting that VHS, Pat?
Oh yeah.
And we already knew who the Undertaker was, and he comes out and you're like, yeah, that guy's terrifying.
That's scary. That's scary Undertaker.
Yeah.
So I have not been that scared by someone in wrestling till this past week on AEW.
What is that?
I fast forwarded.
Let's not talk about it.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Don't want to.
Nope. We're not even gonna give it any love on this podcast.
So let's just move away from it.
Hold on. I think we do have to also add in when Brock Lesnar beat the Undertaker. I think that's an Undertaker moment.
Yeah.
Undertaker moment, because the sheer surprise and shock on people's faces. Only the Undertaker and the Streak could have provoked that.
Well, and you remember when it happened, we were all sitting in the basement and his hand hit 3 and we all froze and we all looked at each other like, did they just botch the ending? Did
that
they
referee's
botch it?
Fired. That referee's
He's super fired.
Charles
Charles Robinson is fired. He's so fired. He screwed that up. I thought it was fake. I thought he messed it up.
What'd you guys think of him saying that he thought Roman might have needed that boost more? I mean, I could only imagine. I think the crowd might have Roman beats him. I don't know I think if Roman's not turning heel, he might as well. Because
you know what though, I don't think there was a right answer for who should have beat him. If it was up to me, nobody would have beat him. Nobody.
Fair.
Or if he would have got beat, it would have been in the last couple of years, and then he's done, and he never see him again in the ring, and that's it.
Yeah, that's tough. It was such a. It'll never be done again.
It leads into the next question that comes up all the time. I go with 5 because it's one hand. Is the Undertaker top 5 in wrestling all time?
I'm gonna go. I don't put him top 5. I think he's solidly in the top 10. I'd even say he's in that 7 or 8 spot. He doesn't make a top 5 for me. It kills me to say that, but he is the greatest gimmick / character in wrestling history. He was a good worker. He was a placeholder, though. He wasn't a draw. There's a difference between mystique and draw. He wasn't a draw. I can't put him in the top 5, and it kills me because I'm an Undertaker fan. Like, don't get me wrong.
And that's the thing. I'm a huge Undertaker fan too. I have issues putting him in my top 10. Like, that's
Really?
hard for me. Like, there's a lot of guys that deserve to be in the top 10 before him. Like, I think he's in that like weird gray zone of like
Alberto Del Rio. I know.
Well,
my computer's on fire from that take. Like, I can't even touch the keyboard.
He's not your top 10?
No.
No, mine either.
And you know what? Another hot take. In my top 10, I would put CM Punk before I put The Undertaker.
Okay, what do you for Undertaker, like, if this was baseball, what would you give the greatest setup man of all time? Like, he wasn't really the guy who closes the show. Like, you could put him in the 2, or like you could have him like he'd be like when you put him mid card to get that mid. If you want a mid card crescendo and then an end of card build, you put him in the mid. Yeah, he can be like he can go with someone, but like I can't imagine him being John Cena or being Stone Cold and like pumping merch out like that. But that wasn't, I think, what they wanted him to do. But at the same time, like, I think he has to be, I don't know, I would say, he's like the greatest pre-main event guy, late card guy.
Look at a lot of his matches. A lot of his best matches are stipulation matches.
Yeah. He was a really good stipulation match wrestler. Yeah. He was versatile.
Retirement matches. There always needed to be an extra stake to bring his like that.
But but I think the only thing that would have really put a proper end to his career is if he would have had that match with Sting. I think they really missed out on that. That would have been 2 of the greatest gimmicks going head to head. You know what I mean? I don't think it would have been a great match, but I think that's what people wanted to see, and that would have put a nice little punctuation on his career, and that could have been good.
Guys, that was a pretty long segment, almost like The Undertaker having to walk a whole ramp.
Yeah, so you're right. We'll leave it there.
You know what we should do with this segment? We should bring it up from like 3/4 of the way down the ramp and just like rise it up so he doesn't have to walk along.
And he'll still have the longest entrance of the night.
Yeah. So we'll leave it there, and when we come back, we did a little change up on the format. We said we'd give you SummerSlam 92, I believe, last week. We went because we love The Undertaker so much. Me and Matt's favorite Undertaker pay-per-view match. And one of our favorite pay-per-views of all time. We are going to talk about Royal Rumble 1994. We'll get that to you after the break.
This is dangerous, JR. This is real dangerous.
All right, and we're back from our last break. And see, that's how you do it right there.
There it is.
But hold on. What are you drinking? That doesn't look like a beer.
I got an Okanagan apple cider. They're delicious.
Oh my God. So we have to change the name? Like, what are we, Bros, Ciders, and Wrestling?
No, we're just Pat didn't go to the quality today to get more beer, so he was out.
The quality.
Oh, you know what? I like calling it that. That's good.
Yeah. So
Buddy mine calls it the Q. I thought that was.
That.
I like that too.
I like that. Both of those fly.
So if you're still here, which I don't know why you would be. This will be the last episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers for sure. We are here to do our retro pay-per-view review. We got Matt, one of our personal favorite pay-per-views. The only reason we say that is because it was one of 2 VHSs that we owned of pay-per-views, and we watched it like crazy. We have Royal Rumble 1994. Matt, dial it up for us, big guy.
Royal Rumble 1994, Saturday, January 22nd, 1994. Saturday pay-per-view.
Was it a Saturday?
What a concept.
Are you saying there was a time where guys could get together, watch wrestling, get drunk, and not worry about being non-functional at work the next day?
Yes.
What a magical time that is.
And then NXT came along and brought it all back for us.
Thank you, NXT.
But the Royal Rumble 1994 was from Providence Civic Center in Providence,
Ooh.
Rhode Island. That rhymes with fun, in case you were wondering.
Providence, Rhode Island fun. Yeah, I hear it. There it is.
Yep.
Same with Regina.
Yes. We're going to leave that joke there. And there was 14,500 people, which in 1994 was a heck of a crowd.
That's a big old crowd.
Yeah.
How many people?
14,500.
Oh, you could fit that in the Coliseum. Way to go, WWE.
Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, a little bit less than 100,000,
Yeah,
right?
a little less. Yeah, a little more manageable.
Smidgen, a little smidgen less.
Hold on. Whoa. Oh, there it was.
Oh.
Success! Success!
Well done. What do you got there, Matt? Let me see.
Another Nonsuch.
Oh, you know. Is that the dry hop sour?
This is the dry
Oh
hop.
my god, let's
Oh,
get off
good.
this Nonsuch
My
Leviton.
eyes don't fail me.
So we lead off the show, Vince McMahon on commentary, so you know it's going to be fantastic.
You know it's going to be a dumpster fire.
And he introduces his commentary partner for the evening, Ted, I should never do commentary, DiBiase.
Because he's so uninterested in doing
Yeah,
this.
you know where Ted DiBiase wish he was? In the ring in the Royal Rumble. That's where he wishes.
Yep.
He did not want to be on commentary. He was terrible. He was Hacksaw Jim Duggan bad.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
a smidgen above that.
I do not concur. So they
He had one line though off the top. Him and McMahon are chatting, and then he says to McMahon, "I have so much money. You could be working for me, McMahon."
That's funny.
And McMahon goes, "Well, that's a laugh."
Gentlemen, I have an announcer related question. They had WWF radio broadcasts at this
Yes.
time?
Yes, we will get to that. Yeah.
Okay, well we're getting to it. Okay, I thought
Because
how the hell do you that's like what are you describing?
well, the best part was on the radio, the WWF radio for this event, they had Jim Ross and Gorilla Monsoon. Why that wasn't your number one commentary team, I have no idea.
Why? Because Vince McMahon owns the company, and 1, 2, 3, what a maneuver!
Yeah. So they actually jump in later. They do the Razor Ramon IRS match, so we'll get to that because that was the best commentary match.
It was the best part of that match.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to it. They lead off with Tatanka taking on Bam Bam Bigelow, who was replacing who, Matt?
I don't remember.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh, Ludwig Borga.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't remember.
The look
Yeah,
on
you know-
Matt's face was priceless. He was like, "Oh no,
You know
was
what?
I supposed to know this?"
He was terrified because he's like, "Oh my god, I should know this answer." It's a
Oh,
song
and I
date.
have it.
No,
I have it
was
written
Ludwig
down,
Borga.
and I just neglected to look at it. 'Cause
Yeah.
Ludwig
Yes.
Borga was awful.
Yeah, he was an MMA guy. He was only with the company for like a year. He was not there very long.
He was a bodybuilder who became a wrestler, who then sucked at wrestling. So thought, "Wow, if I fight people for real, maybe I'll be better at it."
Yeah, and then he was Finnish.
Yeah.
Da-dum-dum.
Oh, I get because he was from Finland.
There it is. He
Oh,
nailed.
boy.
Man, you're slow today. Lay off the Nonsuch. Holy.
I'm so glad I have editing power over this podcast.
So, just so we're clear, the best part of this match was in the beginning when my queen accompanied Bam Bam Bigelow to the ring. The real queen, Luna Vachon.
Oh Jesus!
Oh.
Mm,
Not googling.
Hotness level at an all-time high.
mm.
Underrated hot. And you guys are wrong when you say no.
Not googling.
This match, however, first of all, Bam Bam Bigelow, we are going to realize is the hardest working man on this card. And you wouldn't expect that based on his appearance. You would think he's a one-match guy, and he's going to make 3 different appearances on this
Yeah.
card.
Yeah, he's
And
in
do
this
a damn
match.
good job.
He's in this match. Shows up in the Taker match, which we'll talk about, and he's in the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
So
He's
he
actually the Iron Man in the Rumble.
yeah. So good for Bam Bam. I mean,
I never thought he was a workhorse like that.
oh man, he was unreal.
Really?
You want to watch some good matches? Go watch him against Taz in ECW.
Was he
Oh,
kind of
those
like
were-
Virgil in that? Oh, not Virgil. Sorry. Vader in
Whoa.
that sense. I know, way off. But
You know
Vader
what?
was considered to be like talented for his
Yeah,
size, right?
I would say they were very comparable. Like
Yeah.
I think Bam Bam's a little more athletic than Vader, but just the presentation of Vader was that much bigger and that
Vader
much
had
more important.
Vader had a tad more
It.
it. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say charisma, but that wasn't the right word. He had a
Yeah.
bit more it. Yeah.
Fair.
So,
So they're not. They're both not quite viscera, but they're
No,
very good.
No.
no.
Yeah.
no.
No one's viscera. Got it.
But so back to the match. So they actually have a pretty damn good match, considering that they were not supposed to wrestle each other that night. They kind of built the whole match. The whole match was built around someone's going to make a move off the top rope, and they built it to the point that was going to win the match.
When you have two solid guys, though, Tatanka, I feel like Tatanka gets a bit of a bad rap. Like, he had this whole undefeated streak that got ruined. These guys were both really good workers.
They're
Or underrated workers. I wouldn't
Yeah.
maybe really good is a overstatement, but it was a good match. I liked it.
It was a bull in Bam Bam against a refrigerator in Tatanka.
Yeah. I saw Tatanka in the airport in Atlanta on a connection flight, and this was like years after he was a big deal. The guy still has like a barrel chest. He's an enormous man.
Yeah, and like, you know what, these two guys, like, I love this match. This is, I think it's super underrated for the card, and like, it was a hot start. Could have went south, but these guys really worked their butts off, and they had a really good match. I couldn't believe Meltzer gave it 1 3/4 stars.
Yeah, that's quite low.
What did you give it?
I give it 2.5.
I gave it a 3. I thought it was stellar. I thought it was a really good match to start off, for considering they had no story going in and they kind of just never kept going after that.
I took a few points off because and this is a hot take, boys. This is a hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take. I hate the 3 arm raise spot in a match.
You're the worst. That's the best.
I hate it.
Hulk Hogan made a career with that.
Who has ever won with the 3 arm raise? I'll tell you. Roddy Piper in 1992 at the Royal Rumble against the Mountie.
Well, when you put on the
He's
worst
the only person
sleeper
I think in history to ever win using the 3 arm raise.
When you put the worst sleeper of all time on the worst wrestler of all time, I mean, he's not gonna raise his arm.
And if Jacques Rougeau listens to this, he'll beat you up.
I'm more afraid of his son. Have you ever seen his son?
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's huge. He's huge. So yeah, I get 3 out of 5. And next match, the pièce de résistance of the whole
The
card.
best match on the card.
You have the Quebecers, who are the tag team champions, believe it or not. Good God. They're accompanied by Johnny Polo or Raven. Why a guy dressed as a golfer was the manager to a bunch of French guys from Quebec
who are dressed as Mounties.
Yeah. And Matt, we talked about this. Who's Jacques Rougeau's partner in this one?
His name is
Like, do you want his real name or do you want his
No, because he's someone else.
Pierre.
He's
Pierre, but now he's PCO.
Yeah, he's PCO from Ring of Honor. He's a monster
Pierre
now.
Carl Oulet
Yeah.
in Ring of
Yes.
Honor.
Yeah. So yeah,
Got one eye.
Yeah. So they're the champs.
Oh,
and
he does,
Yeah, he's a big
according
boy.
to this picture I just
Well,
clicked on.
he's got 2 eyes, but he's blind in one.
Yeah, no, his one eye's going this way and the other
Yeah.
one's going straight.
Yeah.
For those of you who do not have the advantage of visuals,
Oh, sorry.
Bird
Yes.
is pointing in 2 different directions right now.
I'm pushing for this to be a video podcast, so this way and that way.
Yeah, they're up against Brett and Owen Hart, a match after my own heart. Good God. No pun intended.
Fun there?
And a little pun. This match is a clinic in storytelling from the get-go. Brett and Owen at odds, reconciled back together. Parents are on board. Brett and Owen are trying to make it work. They're going to be tag team champions. They're going to make their parents proud. It's just so good. I just loved every second of this match.
There are 3 things that this match made me realize. Number 1, I miss year-long stories.
Yeah.
This started, I think, at SummerSlam the year before and continued all the way to like WrestleMania.
Yeah, they're the big Survivor Series spot too.
Yeah, they had the big Survivor Series match. It was great. Actually, I think it went to the following SummerSlam. They had a cage match at the following SummerSlam.
Something like that, yeah.
And then the second thing that popped out to me is you forget how good Owen was. Oh, my goodness.
The both of them together are just instant magic. It's unbelievable.
You know Brett's good. You don't see a lot of bad Bret or even mediocre Bret Hart matches. Owen I think because he got kind of pinholed a bit as a tag team guy for a long time, which Brett did, but that was like in the 80s when I wasn't born. You forget that Owen, he's the best insecure in wrestling, I think.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Insecure is great.
Oh yeah.
I love his insecure. And the third thing is, why was Pierre so blown up?
He didn't
does
do anything the
nothing.
whole match.
He didn't do anything the whole match, and he is sweating like
And there's one
me
point
doing an exam. Like,
and there's one point where like Brett's starting to sell the knee, right? That's the whole story of the match and the whole night. And then at one point, Pierre actually on the outside falls on Brett's knee, and you could see Brett actually kicks him as hard as he can. Like, get off my knee, you suck. Like they're brutal. And the whole story, like Owen was barely in the match because Brett was selling the knee so bad and looking selfish because he wouldn't tag out to his little brother. So the Quebecers win. Brett can't continue, so that's the end of the match.
I didn't like the finish.
The finish was kind of wonky to me.
Can't continue, so they just.
Yeah, there was a lot of wonky finishes tonight and in this night. And you know what? And then the worst part of the whole thing was you never do a post-match interview with a guy who's exhausted on adrenaline. Because you know why? Then you get Owen Hart who says, "You know what, Brett? I kicked your leg out of your leg." What does that mean?
It's one of the best promos in wrestling history because it's so emotional and means so much to the story, and he botches it so bad.
And then after he says that,
you can tell he's like, "I kicked your leg out of your leg," and then he's like, "Oh, what?"
And then he goes,
say?
And then he covers up as, "You suck, Brett." Like, okay, went off the rails a little bit. We lost it a little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder if that it's just too bad, because I bet you, let's say Owen in another world was like, all right, here's my big chance to get on the mic and crush it. And then he does that and he's like, God damn it, everyone's right. I can't talk. I'm just a worker. Shit.
Well, at least he's better than Bruce. There's always that solace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Quebecers win, they retain. They also gave us 3 1/4 out of 5. You know what? I'm biased. I love Bret Hart. I love Owen Hart. I give it 4 out of 5. I love
Give it a
match.
4?
I love the match. Love it. Love it.
I gave it a 3.5. It's one of those ones you can watch again, but it's not one that you seek out necessarily.
I'll seek it out all day. All day I'll seek it out.
Yeah, and we seeked it out for a lot of years. We wore that VHS real thin.
But you know what? I appreciated this match more as an adult because when I was a kid, this was the match I always fast forwarded because
it felt long.
It felt long because Brett wasn't really doing anything. But now once you understand wrestling a little bit better, it's so much better. They start off the night really good, 2 good matches to start. And then we get the Intercontinental title match. Razor Ramon, which is you usually get a good match out of him, up against Erwin R. Shyster. Yes, those initials read IRS. Oof.
Terrible gimmick. Good worker.
I don't know what was worse, the gimmick or the ring gear. Hey, Erwin, you're going to go out there, you're going to wrestle in suspenders.
And a tie and dress pants.
I'm into it. What? Why are people afraid of an accountant? I don't understand.
Because the IRS takes all your money.
Yeah, but I don't feel like wrestling fans are going to get audited. I feel like at one point, didn't he tag team with Ted DiBiase? Wouldn't he audit Ted DiBiase?
Maybe that's Vince's greatest fear.
Oh, that would make sense. That's why he tagged with DiBiase.
DiBiase
was Vince.
Ah.
So it was how Vince kept his money.
Yeah. The match was okay for the most part at the start. I think we could just jump to the finish because the finish was an absolute mess.
Do we have to?
So some backstory. This is Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon are on a collision course for one of the greatest matches of all time, the ladder match at WrestleMania. But at this time, Shawn Michaels claims he's the IC champ. Razor Ramon claims that they both have a belt. Shawn Michaels runs in, hits Razor Ramon, and then runs. And IRS wins the match. A ref runs down to show the ref that was out cold because of a ref bump. There's 2 belts. Something's up, which never happens. The ref never comes and helps another ref. So he goes, oh, okay. And before they can ring the bell to restart the match, Razor Ramon picks up IRS in a Razor's Edge, hits him with the Razor's Edge. There's no bell, pins him 1, 2, 3, and he retains the title. I appreciate the silence.
I didn't
appreciate
know
the
that.
silence.
I didn't know that.
I appreciate the silence during that whole explanation because I could just see Jordan's face going, how's this going to end? This is weird. And it's like, none of it made sense.
No.
I have to ask you a question though. What if wrestling had replays? Like, what if they had coach's challenge?
They do
or
sometimes
something?
though. There was
Arn Anderson's in the corner just hucking red flags.
That's
There was
exactly what I'm thinking in my head.
In the last couple of years, there was a match, something happened, and then all of a sudden there was a weird finish, and the ref went to the side of the outside the ring and went, "Can I see a replay, please?" I was like, "Why don't you always do that?"
It's like I get knocked out, and then I count a 3. Meanwhile, I never go to the replay. But when when another ref runs down, I'm gonna like it.
No, when the ref gets knocked out, like you can't expect him to be a functioning mind or her, So naturally, like, and I honestly, I'm a big proponent. I'd like to see some refs take some real bumps. You know what I'm saying? These ref bumps are getting weak. Like, take a good bump. If you're gonna take a boot to the face, I want you to take that thing properly. But all these ref bumps are like a little nudge.
No.
It's
You know what it is
bullshit.
though? You know what it is though? I was listening to the AEW podcast and they had Aubrey Edwards, or it was Talk is Jericho. She was on there and she was saying like you learn to take a bump as a ref, but it's not the same kind of bump as a worker. It's supposed to look bad. You're just supposed to fall safe.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, this match.
Earl Hebner used to take some decent bumps.
That's true, actually. That's a valid point.
Earl sold like a crazy person.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so this match, Meltzer gave it 1.5 out of 5. I gave it a 1. The starting of the match was okay with me. The ending was a total unbelievable mess. So I gave it a 1. How about you, Matt?
I gave it a 1.25, a 1.25. And the only reason I gave Jordan, what do you got there? Oh, wait. Oh, there it is.
It's very underrated. It's very underrated beer right now.
Yes, a little skinny can of the Bud Light lemonade
strawberry.
raspberry.
Strawberry lemonade.
Whatever.
If whenever we get to frequent the United States of America, I find somewhere with strawberry lemonade and have enough to make myself sick. Also, big shout out to Applebee's for. I essentially grew up on Wednesday night all-you-can-eat riblets and strawberry lemonade. So
who didn't though?
That explains the 250 pounds you see before you now.
Okay,
but just going back to that match, I gave it 1.25. I gave the match a 1. I gave him an extra quarter because Gorilla and JR called it.
We didn't mention that. They were. I don't know why they weren't the whole thing. They should have been the main. Oh my god.
It was so much better than the rest of the card.
It goes Bobby Heenan 1A, Gorilla Monsoon 1B, and then everybody else.
I think JR is probably right there behind them.
Probably 2. Yeah. It's number 2. Let's calm down, okay?
No, I'm not saying he's a 1C. I'm saying he's number 2.
I think you're a 1 stupid.
All right, let's just go to the Taker match. Can we get this Taker match over with?
No, we are not, because we're going to talk about it, because this is great. We got Yokozuna.
The end's great. The match itself is not good.
One of my all-time favorites. Yokozuna is the world champion. He's taking on The Undertaker. Best part of this match is not the ending. It is the lead-up videos.
Yeah,
He's making the casket.
You're right.
Yeah, that was WWF.
You know why it's great, Pat? You know why it's great?
Double Y!
Double D!
Undertaker. Oh my god, it's chills. He's so money.
So good.
God, it is a casket match, which was the best part. But yeah, Matt, as soon as they got to the ring, good God, this was slow. I think Taker was hurt, right? He was nursing something.
Yeah, that's why he goes away after this match.
Yeah, it was his back, I think, eh?
Yeah, I believe so.
So it was slow. And you know what? These two usually don't go slow. Like Yokozuna at this time, this is peak Yokozuna. He's fast,
his
big
agility
man.
is usually ridiculous.
And Taker works good with guys like that. I mean, so it had a lot of potential. Match goes quickly off the rails. There's lots of interference from Fuji, Cornette. Everybody's getting involved. And then for some reason...
we have a Bam Bam sighting.
Yeah, Bam Bam. All the heels come out because all the heels apparently in WWF are friends.
I can give you a list of who came out if you want.
That's it, everybody. It was literally everybody.
We had Crush, the Great Kabuki, Genichiro Tenru. I may have butchered that. Excuse me. Thank you. Bam Bam Bigelow. And then, after the urn was smoking, Atom Bomb, Jeff Jarrett, the head shrinkers, Samu and Fatu, and Diesel.
Yeah.
It was essentially a Royal Rumble for the Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question, and I have actually several questions that I'd like to pose to both of you. First of all, why is the urn full of green smoke?
Green. I was gonna say everything that WWF does, WWE does, everything's green. The mist is green. The smoke of the urn is green. What is green? Like I don't.
Does it show up well on camera? Like I
It
feel
might-
like
I-
it does
yeah.
show really good.
It
I
must
think
be.
it's got to be that.
It
I
is
think
one of like
was.
the main color hues.
Yeah, I think yeah. And
Number
then so
two, why don't the faces come out to help Taker? All the heels ran out. Why don't the faces come to help him?
it was. Well, I think the whole thing was that Fuji paid all the heels. That's what they mentioned that on commentary. But even
that's
then,
right.
like,
Yeah.
but if you're a heel, you're a good guy. Like, don't you see someone being wronged and you rush out there like a superhero?
So, which leads me to my third question. All these heels having to help your champion, doesn't that weaken your monster champion?
To be fair, Yoko was very terrified the whole match. So he's
His
scared.
facials were fantastic.
He was scared. He was very scared.
Fourth question.
Oh God.
You weren't kidding.
I have 5.
Okay.
Diesel came out. Why didn't Shawn Michaels come out? Was he
He was
not
just-
heel enough?
He was just in the other match. You don't want to. That's what I think. He was in the other match.
So hashtag logic.
You know that?
Yeah,
I'm getting really
seriously.
tired. I'm getting
Yeah,
really
what are
tired
we
of you
doing?
coming out of Logic. Why are you
What
doing
are we
this right
doing?
now?
And my fifth
What is
question.
this? What do you expect everyone to
goes
lose
with-
by rear naked choke? Like what else do you want here?
Well, my last question goes with the after the match antics. So Pat,
Okay.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
here, okay.
So
that's
yeah,
fair.
so finally the heels all get Taker after they beat him up for like what felt like 25 minutes, and Taker kept coming back. So all the heels looked weak because the Undertaker's beating them all up. They finally get him in the casket, close it, and Yoko wins. They're pushing it out. Then there's the gong, and then the best thing ever you see on the Jumbotron, wasn't the Titantron yet. It is the Undertaker in the casket.
That camera angle is awesome. I can't believe they put a camera in the casket.
Right? So smart. So smart.
So
He
smart.
awakens and then cuts a promo on Yokozuna telling him, well done, and he'll be back.
By the way, guys, that's sarcasm. We know there wasn't a camera
No,
in the casket.
I don't ruin that magic
Oh,
for
thank
me.
you. Thank you for
Don't
telling
ruin
me because I was like, wow, they put a camera in the casket
Matt.
in 1994.
You know, Matt, there's so few good things on this card. Why do you have to ruin the one thing that made me happy? That they put a camera in the casket. I'm 30 years old and I still wanted to believe it because I didn't want to lose it, and it was just magical to me.
Well, they
Ruined
had
that for-
they
ruined it for
had
me.
GoPros in 1994, so it's
Absolutely.
fine. Yeah, it's no big
Handhelds.
deal.
You know what?
Handhelds. Yeah.
You know what? This is the last episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers. I'm tired of this.
Undertaker
week-
selfies are my favorite selfies.
So yeah, it was absolutely horrible.
Here's my
Nelson-
question, though, Pat. Here's my last question.
Question 6, everybody.
This is 5.
Clock.
Learn how to count. It's
Clock.
one hand. You should be able to figure it out.
What's your question?
So, did the Undertaker die? And if he did die, did he go to heaven or hell?
Can I tell you? He died, but he didn't die. And let me tell you why. On screen, it showed the casket exploding. But in the arena, the casket did not explode. Cue WWE multi-dimensional storylines. That's where you see the fork in the road, like Spider-Man, like the Spider-Verse. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'm going with
I
this,
don't,
so I'm
but-
going to segue back. But basically, what I'm saying is that it was interesting to see him rising to the rafters after, because that would make me think heaven.
You know what?
But
You know
he's
what-
the
you know what-
Undertaker.
You know what pissed me off the most about this match? You two trying to make logic out of it, and you ruin it for me, and now I hate it. And I never hated this match before.
Listen, when you hear Yokozuna, just think of him like giving what was it called? The bonsai death drop or
The
whatever it
bonsai
was.
drop.
Okay, just think of the video of him doing it to the guy he doesn't like, and
Oh
just
my
let that play in your head over and over. Because I watched a man die that day.
You know what? You know what the best part
He
about
was
this
just
podcast?
kidding.
You know what the best part about this podcast is? When we do the retro pay-per-view reviews, and Jordan doesn't watch the pay-per-views and shares his thoughts on the pay-per-views.
That's my favorite part.
Hey, what's Yokozuna's move? The bonsai death drop? What are you
Well-
freaking kidding me?
Well, Wikipedia didn't have it readily available for me to read.
You know what you should just do? Fix the slurps. Worry about the decibels during the review, okay?
Hey, Pat, before we need to find a new producer, What did you give this 14-minute and 20-second dumpster fire?
Well, I give it the same. I give it the same score that I give all these stupid questions you guys are trying to answer right now. I give it a 1 out of 5.
So Meltzer also gave it a 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
I gave it a 1 out of 5 because it. The
Sucked.
match was terrible. Everything around the match was okay.
You know what the best part about the match was? The double wide, double deep.
What a great way to honor Taker, you guys, by giving him a match you gave a 1 out of 5 to. Thank you for your service, Taker.
Well, the best part is they
Thank you,
followed up
Taker.
with the worst Royal Rumble I could think of.
Why did you pick this card?
As
I
it
don't
was,
We
understand
watched
it.
it. We literally watched
this
it.
was the first
70
VHS that I
times.
was
What
bought,
the
and I had
shit? This was an Undertaker episode, and you picked a match that had nothing to do with it being good.
No.
So they get to the Royal Rumble, and first of all, they get to the first couple entrances. What is Quang? Can you tell me that?
What is oh, here we go. All right, hold on.
Here's my problem.
No, I know who he
No,
is.
I got
he's
this.
He's Savio Vega.
Oh,
know
okay.
it's
I was like, I
but-
thought you
but
meant
what
like
is-
legitimately.
But what is he?
He's a
Is he a
ninja.
ninja? He's a ninja. Okay.
Martial arts expert.
He is, yeah, according to, let's see. Yeah, you know what? Wikipedia doesn't know either. He's, he's just a guy
end
who
of the
goes by a lot
day-
of different names.
At the end of the day, he used his green mist, more green color on screen.
No, at the end of the day, good Royal Rumbles start with energy. You put two guys in there, they start with energy. Nothing happened in this one till Diesel came out at 7.
Yeah.
And then what happened when Diesel came out at 7? He cleared the ring. So then nothing else happened.
Yeah.
Till the ring started to fill up. So we got the Diesel spot. We got the creation of the Diesel spot.
You did, and then you almost got it ruined by Bob Backlund, who came in and I'm pretty sure forgot that wrestling's not real and wanted to eliminate Diesel.
Why was he on his hands and knees? Why was he on his hands and knees?
He bull rushed him like a pit bull. I was like,
And then Virgil comes out and throws 3 of the stiffest
Oh.
punches I've seen in a while.
you mean Virgil, the alternate? That was mentioned that there was several alternates in this match. And you know who's not, Matt, you know who's not winning a Royal Rumble? Alternates. Alternates.
Yeah.
Why even say anything? I didn't look. There's no internet really at this time. I'm not going to go look it up. Vince, like, come on.
Mm,
And then it just,
Yeah.
and then there was this weird backstage segment where Luger
Why
gets
did-
beat up.
why?
Why?
Because he doesn't sell it when he comes back out.
Luger gets beat up by Tenro and Kabuki. And he comes out like a bull in a china shop and no pain, nothing, wasn't hurt. Oh,
And Owen Hart comes out, who should be an atomic bomb of heat. And you eliminate him in 5 minutes.
he should have come in 5th, 6th, and he should have been there with Diesel for the longest time, and they should have just stayed in the ring. Build off that heat. It was such a waste. And then they sold the Bret Hart story pretty well. There was a non-entrant where nobody came out, and they're like, oh, that must be Bret Hart. And like as a fan, you're like, oh yeah, that's probably him because of his knee, can't come out. Which is
But no.
followed by the big
It
Bret
was
Hart.
Bastion Booger who
Yeah.
got a little sick.
Yeah, he got sick. I have heard and seen Bastion Booger. I have never seen a Bastion Booger match, and I'm not going to openly look for it either.
No, I'm not going on YouTube to look up a Bastion Booger match.
So the big Bret Hart pop happens, and then Matt, who comes out number 30?
The guy who should have won, Adam Bomb.
He comes out and Vince sells him like he is the second coming of Hulk Hogan. Adam Bomb's gonna win the Royal Rumble. Adam Bomb's gonna eliminate everybody. Adam Bomb, and he gets eliminated like 2 seconds later.
Yes, he does.
He looked cool though. Adam Bomb looked cool.
Pat, who's your final 4?
Shawn Michaels, which is great.
Yep.
Lex
Makes
Luger,
sense.
who ends up winning it.
Makes
Bret
sense.
Hart, who also ends up winning it.
Makes sense.
And then Fatu.
Yeah, that. Wait, what?
A
Good-
member of a
good
tag team. Oh my god.
He, to be fair, he will become Rikishi, who runs over Stone Cold.
No, he also
Allegedly.
First he becomes Fatu, and he's gonna make a change, make a difference or something.
Whatever.
Worst gimmick ever. But like
Oh my god.
the finish was great. I thought they both hit at the same time. That was all Brett
That
handling
is
Luger.
the best double elimination ever.
Yeah, and they didn't have to cut to a different camera angle. It was straight on. Brett handled it. It was great. And then you get
Better
your two
than
winners.
Cena Batista?
Well, that was an accident.
I know. Vince blowing out his quads all time video.
Well, we're going to have to do that pay-per-view one day.
Yeah, we are.
Oh.
Yeah, we are.
Squazzy keeps yelling at
Yeah.
people while he's lying there with two blown out quads.
They do the whole stupid thing. Oh, who wins? They win. Play each other's music, and then they just announce they both win, which sets up WrestleMania. They both get a title shot. And, yeah, Matt, not a good Royal Rumble. I usually love Royal Rumbles. This was not good.
This Royal Rumble went 55 minutes and 4 seconds. I think I was interested in max 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, it was bad. Meltzer gave it 2.5 stars. I gave it 2 just because of the fun finish, the Diesel spot, and Bret Hart winning. So give me 2. What about you?
I gave it 2. Royal Rumble's about moments, about creating spots, about creating moments. This had none of that. I gave it 2 for the exact same reasons as you did, and it pains me that I agreed with you so much on this show.
What the hell,
Kills
man?
me.
That's
Pat,
hurtful.
we have to chug, sip, or cheers this Royal Rumble. What are you doing? Because I already know what I'm
You're
doing.
going to get mad at me. I'm going to sip it because nostalgia, one of my favorite shows. I don't know.
I'm
I'll
like,
sip it.
I'm borderline sip, but I think I'm going to need to chug it. It was better than WrestleMania 7,
There isn't much
but
that
not
isn't.
by a lot.
All right, boys, so we'll put a little bow on it with that, with our Royal Rumble 1994 review. Hope you enjoyed the episode. It was kind of a garbage fire, I'm not going to lie. I had fun, though. Hope you did, too. Keep tell your friends, subscribe, give us a 5-star review. Keep those amazing reviews coming out because I laugh every time I read them. I don't care who writes them. You could follow me on Untapped at Pat Gagne. You could follow Matt at Gagne Matt with 2 T's. And you can follow our producer at JSco55. Remember to drink local. Next week, we are doing Money in the Bank 2011. John Cena, CM Punk, Chicago. What's up? We'll see you next week.